everyone, I'm Mackenzi Lee, the author of The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, and I'm here for another edition of bringing recommendations from my bookstore to your bookshelf. Let's go! Also, this is only my second video for Epic Reads, and I already have a new chair because I have commitment issues, but this one's very throne-like. Makes me feel like a book queen. So the new year is here! It's 2018! You survived 2017! Congratulations! Give yourself a high five! So this time of year, what we see moving a lot at the bookstore is books that have to do with New Year's resolutions. That's lots of dieting books, or dating books, books about new skills or hobbies or things like that, because everybody's really jazzed about their New Year's resolutions. So today I'm going to be recommending to you some fiction books to go with some of the most popular New Year's resolutions I see in our store. The first and most common New Year's resolution is lose weight. Let's talk about this for a second. First of all, if your New Year's resolution is to get healthier, that's fantastic. We can all be drinking more water and sleeping more and eating more vegetables, especially if you're a person like me who just had Oreos for breakfast. True story. However, so many people get fixated on losing weight as being sort of the end game of being healthy, which is not true and is an incorrect correlation. So if your New Year's resolution is to lose weight, I would actually recommend to you DUMPLIN by Julie Murphy, which is a great book about learning to feel at home in the skin you're in. DUMPLIN is about a Texas girl named Willow Dean. She is fat and she is proud. She loves her body until she starts dating this guy, and then she starts getting weirdly self-conscious in a way she's never been before. So what she decides to do to try and combat this and to show that there are all different types of beauty is she enters a beauty pageant in Texas, much to the chagrin of her former pageant queen mother. So Willow Dean and her group of misfit friends all decide to enter the beauty pageant in Texas to sort of challenge the ideas about what it means to be beautiful. I love this book. It's so happy. It's so positive. It's all about loving the skin you're in, loving your weirdness, loving your quirks. It's about Texas and Dolly Parton. Also, it's going to be a movie this year with Jennifer Aniston, and I think it's pretty cool that in 2018 we're getting a movie about a fat girl who doesn't feel like she has to lose weight to have a romance or to have like a character arc and a great story. So that is DUMPLIN by Julie Murphy. Our next New Year's resolution I see a lot is to make time for romance, or to find somebody you can make time for romance with. So I'm going to recommend to you The Weight of Feathers by Anna-Marie McLemare. You probably know Anna-Marie McLemare's second two books, which are When the Moon Was Ours and Wild Beauty. Not as many people know about The Weight of Feathers, and I don't know why, because this book is so freaking romantic. I love it so much. So this book is about two families, the Corbeaus and the Palomas. The Corbeaus are performing tree climbers, the Palomas are performing mermaids, and they have a deep, bitter rivalry feud going on. And every year they end up in the same town at the same time performing, and it's terrible because they hate each other. But of course, from these two families come two young people who fall in forbidden love, and it's so romantic, and it's such a wonderful story about being in love with someone who your family is not on board with. I don't really read books for the romance, but holy cow, the romance in this book is so lovely and so thoughtful and beautiful, and nobody writes sentences like Anna-Marie McLemare. Every sentence in this book is a work of art. I just looked very fondly at the book as though it were it that I was making time for romance with. But that's The Weight of Feathers by Anna-Marie McLemare. The next New Year's resolution I see a lot of in the store is learn a new skill, which is fantastic. There are so many skills to be learned. One I didn't know I wanted to learn until I read this book is mechanical engineering, and that book is Mechanica by Betsy Carnwell. I don't know why everybody isn't reading this book, because it's the STEM feminist Cinderella you've been dreaming of. I know your dreams. I know we've all wanted this. So this book is about 16-year-old Nicolette, who is tortured by her stepfamily just like Cinderella. However, when she's 16 years old, Nicolette finds a key to her mother's magical mechanical workshop, and she takes up her mother's work of building these incredible mechanical creations. When Nicolette finds out there's a royal ball coming up, she's not super excited, but when she finds out there's a technology exposition coming up, she's super on board with that and sees it might be her ticket out of her terrible family situation. This book is wonderful, like steampunk magic Cinderella fairy tale. It's a great mashup. It has a great sort of like just feminist underpinning to the entire thing, and also is really like excitingly and deliciously mechanical, which is not a thing I ever thought I'd say about a book. So that's Mechanica by Betsy Carnwell. Our next New Year's resolution is to travel more. For those wanderlusty among you, I would recommend Wanderlost by Jen Malone. This book is so cute and so funny and made me want to see the entire world. So Wanderlost is about Aubrey. She is a sort of type A, kind of neurotic young woman who doesn't ever stray far from home until She ends up having to take her sister's place at a job as a like a tour guide, bus tour director for a group of senior citizens traveling through Europe. Of course, she meets a cute boy. Of course, she starts to come out of her shell, see Europe, experience the many things of the world, learn things about herself. Also, there's an incredibly funny sequence involving the sound of music that I just like love so very much and think about so very often. This book will make you want to travel and also explore yourself, and I love it. That's all. That's Wanderlost by Jen Malone. And our last New Year's resolution is to resist. So 2017, it was a rough year politically for a lot of us, but one of the best things that happened in it was people were getting involved. We were, I don't know if you are like me, I called my senators and my congresspeople for the first time in my life. I wrote to government offices for the first time in my life, and the fact that people are more civically engaged is awesome, and we have to keep that up in 2018. So my resist book for you is Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein. First of all, if you know me or have interacted with me at all for more than like 36 seconds, I will probably talk about this book. This is my most favorite book in the entire world. I've read it probably 15 times now. I have sobbed like a child every single time. This book is so beautiful, and it is so inspiring. It inspires me every time, just like many of the stories of people during World War II, to resist tyranny and to refuse to normalize atrocities. So Codename Verity is about two women who are involved in the British resistance. One of them is a spy and one of them is a pilot. They're flying together when they get shot down over Nazi-occupied France, and the spy gets captured and the pilot disappears. So the book is the written confessions of our spy, Queenie, as she's telling the Nazis everything she knows about the British war movement, but also throughout the book kind of unravels this beautiful story about these friendship between these two women, and also the many ways people are fighting back during World War II in all these different capacities. I love this book. I found so much, sorry, the dog just like slid toenails on the floor. I love this book. I have found so much strength this year in looking back at history and looking back at the stories of other women and other people and other times when so many people have stood up and refused to normalize terrible things happening in their world and who have fought back. That's Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein. So that's it for my 2018 New Year's resolution book recommendations. If you have more recommendations you'd like to see, or if you have a resolution you'd like paired with the book, feel free to mention it in the comments. You can also find me on Twitter at the Mackenzi Lee, where I love giving out book recommendations, and we would be happy to do it for you. So come find me. Let's talk about your New Year's resolutions. Let's talk about what you're reading in 2018, and I'll see you next time.